Welcome to interQiew.com. Today we will review the fifth question from the first C++ free test on interQiew.com website. This question is mostly about STL containers, iterators, and algorithms. In the main function, we have a type def for the list of integers, followed by the definition of a list object. The argument of the list constructor indicates the size of the list we want to create. All 5 elements of the list are initialized to 0. Next, we have type def for const iterator of the list, then 2 variables of that type to hold the begin and end iterators of the list. Similarly, we have a type def for iterator of the list and 1 variable to hold the begin iterator. Const iterators will be used to read the elements of the list, and the non-const iterator will be used to update the elements of the list. Then we have a call to the function transform. This version of the function takes a range of input elements, calls given transformation function for each element in the range, and writes the result into an output range. The first argument is the beginning of the input range, and the second argument is the end of the input range. Note that the end iterator of the list is decremented, which means the function transform will not iterate over the last element of the list. The third argument defines the beginning of the output range. Note that the begin iterator of the list is incremented, which means the function will write the transformed values starting from the second element of the list. There is no argument to set the end of the output range, since it is assumed that the length of the output range is the same as the length of the input range. The last argument is the transformation function. Here, lambda expression is used to define it. The square brackets indicate that this is a lambda expression. Then in the round brackets, the list of arguments is defined. In this case, it has 1 argument with the same type as the elements of the list. The curly brackets contain the body of the function. It returns incremented value of its argument. In order to understand how the elements of the list will be transformed, let's look into this picture. At the beginning of the function transform, we have this setting. Begin iterator of the input range points to the first element of the list. End iterator of the input range points to the last element of the list. And begin iterator of the output range points to the second element of the list. On the first iteration, the function transform reads the value pointed by the begin iterator of the input range, passes it to the transformation function, writes the return value into the element pointed by the begin iterator of the output range, and finally increments both begin iterators. After the first iteration, we have this picture. Note that the element pointed by the begin iterator of the input range now contains the transformed value. On the second iteration, the function transform again reads the value pointed by the begin iterator of the input range, calls the transformation function with that value, writes the result into the element pointed by the begin iterator of the output range, and increments both iterators. After the second iteration, we have this picture. This process is repeated while the begin iterator of the input range is less than the end iterator of the input range. After the function transform, the copy function is used to print the list. In general, copy function takes a pair of iterators defining input range and copies the values to the output range defined by its third argument. In this call, the input range is the entire list. For the output range, ostream iterator is used, which wraps around output stream cout and provides iterator interface to it. The template argument indicates the type of the objects that we are going to print. It is the same type as the elements of the list, written in more generic way. Thank you for watching this video and stay tuned for more videos.